What's up, Will? Welcome back to Maybe Pancakes. Today we're making ballerina cookies. This is a ballerina cookie. It's a chocolate bottom, vanilla top cookie with a nougat filling. And yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm ready to be baking. This is a baking channel now. It's not a baking channel. I'm just gonna bake a couple times. This is baking channel now. Yes. Okay, let's get into it. Why? So into the bowl of a food processor, you're going to add flour, caster sugar, vanilla, and salt. And then you're also going to add butter. Make sure the butter is kind of cold so that it's gonna make the flour turn into a consistency of like wet sand. It's also easier if you cut it up into little bits, because that way it's going to incorporate faster. And we're going to make one dough, and then we're going to separate it into two parts, and to one of the parts we're going to add cocoa powder. And that is going to make 1/2 cocoa and one, or like chocolate, and 1/2 just plain vanilla dough. Let's start with this, and put your lid on. Nope. Okay. And put that on your onto your food processor. Why is everything so hard? Okay. So now we're just gonna turn this on low and let it go until we have a consistency of like wet sand. Okay, that's fine. So now just dump this out onto a very lightly floured work surface. Like this one here. You actually don't need to flour this work surface because there's so much butter in the dough, so it's not going to stick to anything. Well, it's not going to stick to anything. So if your dough is a little bit crumbly like this, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna put this in the fridge to hydrate for like an hour, and during that time it's going to become better. So let's take our kitchen scales, and my dough and your dough as well should weigh about 388 grams. Which means we have to divide it into 2 pieces and do some math. Okay, that's fine. So like 190 something grams each. That's great. And for one of the doughs, you're going to place, let's start with the vanilla one. So the vanilla dough, we're just going to take some plastic wrap and kind of smush it out like this. Put it in the plastic wrap and send it into the fridge for about an hour. So your other piece of dough we've got right here, we're gonna put that into a bowl. We're going to add some cocoa powder, some unsweetened cocoa powder, about 20 grams. You'll have all the measurements in the description, and hopefully my wonderful editor will put them on screen so that we know how much we put in everything. Please. You need that, and you also need like a tablespoon of water, which I think is about this much. And then we're just gonna knead this together so that we get one cocoa chocolate tasting dough and one vanilla tasting dough. This doesn't work at all. Let's do that. Whose idea was this? It's a terrible idea. We'll be right back. Okay, so I have kneaded my dough, and it came out pretty good, pretty well. I did not expect it to get so sticky so quickly, so To be fair, I haven't done this before. We're learning together, you and I. I know, like, I only know as much as my recipe tells me, and even though I have a recipe that I'm using for this, I am changing the proportions for everything because that's just the way I cook. So we have the chocolate dough here, we have the vanilla dough chilling in the fridge, literally, and we're gonna put this in with it. Okay, so these guys are gonna be in the fridge. Did I say oven? Yeah, these guys are gonna be in the fridge for about an hour. And while we let those guys rest, we're going to make the fillings that we're gonna have in the cookie. So the original one is, let's see if I have, yep. The original one looks like this. It has the vanilla on top. It has like a nougat, almost like Nutella in the middle, and it has a chocolate bottom. So we're going to make a Nutella Center, and well, I actually already made the Nutella Center. It's right here. And this is something that I prepared yesterday because I hoped that it would kind of chill a little bit so we could use it in the cookies. It looks like I might have been wrong, but then again, maybe not. We'll have to see. And this is the same recipe that I used in my video of banana pancakes and homemade Nutella. So if you haven't seen that and you don't know how to make homemade Nutella, that's so much better than like ordinary buying the store Nutella. Watch that video. We're gonna have this, but we're also going to make a pistachio cream with condensed milk, and we're gonna make a raspberry jam, maybe with some condensed milk also. Let's start out with the pistachio cream. So for the pistachio cream, we're gonna start out with some sweetened condensed milk, and we're gonna start out with a whole bunch of pistachio nuts. So start out with putting this away. Boop. And taking the shell off of your pistachio nuts. And I'm not gonna bore you with me doing this, so let's get back when I have deshelled all of my nuts. Okay, so I have done the thing. All of the nuts are now out of its shell, and they're so good. So we're just gonna give them a rough chop, and then put them in put them into the milk, and start steeping these to make a pistachio sweetened condensed milk caramel thingy. And I'm gonna try not to drop too many because that's just a waste. Yeah, that's good. And let's put this into a saucepan and pour in the condensed milk. Okay, so we have the thing, and we're gonna pour in the sweetened condensed milk. And we're just gonna stir this around to create a thick boy paste. So you can see here, it's, shut up, I'm trying to cook. Okay, there we go. So let's put this on like medium-low, or medium heat. And we're just gonna let this kind of get gooey and nice. So this has been in here for a little bit. We are steeping the nuts in the sugar thing, and we're gonna give it a little taste. Yeah, that needs salt. Holy shit, that's sweet. Wow. Oh, too sweet. So we're gonna do like a big pinch of flaky salt. We're just gonna do 2 big pinches of flaky salt, because wow. We're gonna let this go for a little bit more, or a little bit longer, to make the nuts kind of soft so that they break down a little bit. And then we're going to take a stand mixer and just mix it so it's smooth. So we have now made this into a thick paste. As you can tell, is no longer runny. So I'm going to try to mix this using my this, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, does it really matter? It's just gonna add some crunch to the texture of the thing. It works. Okay, good. That sounds fun. Okay, so now we have this beautiful green paste, like the beautiful green pistachio paste, which is only condensed, sweetened condensed milk, pistachio nuts, and some flaky salt. You don't have to add the flaky salt if you don't want to. I thought it was too sweet without it, and but like, do as you want, do as you wish. I don't care. Oh my gosh, do what you want. Nobody cares, Tiffany. Nobody cares. So we're gonna put this into a bowl and put that into the fridge to let it set up even more. And while we do that, or when that's in the fridge, we're gonna do the cookies. I lied to you, I'm sorry. Okay, so we're not gonna do the cookies just yet. We're going to make a raspberry, like condensed milk and raspberry paste as well. Just because I realized that I promised you 3 versions, 1 raspberry, 1 pistachio, and 1 Nutella one. So sorry. So into the same saucepan as earlier, wash it out and get some of the raspberries you can find, maybe like that much. Into that you take your sweetened condensed milk and you just pour that over. So just put this in here. Melt the raspberries. Let everything come together. Let the condensed milk condense a little bit more. Like reduce it into a paste. Okay. So update on the raspberry thing. Don't do this. The acid in the raspberries made the condensed milk curd, and it tastes yucky. It's got a nice color to it. Don't do it though. We're sticking with 2. Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't know that was gonna happen. I could have probably figured it out, but still, yeah. So we're moving on. You wanna get some parchment paper, and you wanna preheat your oven to 175 Celsius, or however many Fahrenheiters that is. Actually, preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius, because when you open it and you put the cookies in, the temperature is gonna go down a little bit. So put it to 200 and then scale it back to 175 when you put the cookies in. Pro tip for you right there. So we have our 2 doughs right here. The difference between these is that the chocolate one is going to be whole. You can, the bottom one is going to be whole, and the top one is going to have a hole right there in the middle. That's not in focus. We're gonna start with the chocolate bottom part. So you wanna get your rolling pin and just kind of hit it a little bit to make it flat, because that's the fastest way to get it a little bit flatter. And then you wanna roll it out to like a couple millimeters thick. And you can take the plastic wrap off and just kind of, holy shit, that was a bad idea. Put the plastic wrap back on. And wash your rolling pin off. Okay, so use the plastic wrap just to get so that the dough doesn't stick onto your rolling pin, because that's a thing that happened. And when you have the dough like 2-3 millimeters thick, like that, let's put this over here. Then you take the plastic wrap off, and you have your little dough boy. I'm going to use my glass because it's a little bit larger, as you can see, but it's roughly the same size. And just kind of start punching cookies out. And as always, like with cooking, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. It's just, as long as you're making it for yourself or like a relative, they're not gonna care. They're just gonna be happy that you did something with your life and not just sit in front of the computer looking at grown-up stuff. Like the news. Nobody wants you watching the news. Not even the news wants you watching the news. I'm in popping butters. So now take this and put it back into the fridge for a few minutes, or like maybe 10-15 minutes to let them firm up just a tiny bit, and then we're going to put them on a baking tray and shove them into the oven. And yeah, so I'm going to do the same thing with the vanilla ones. And let me take this away and make the thing for the other thing, and then we're gonna do this again. But we have one more step for the top ones because they need to have a hole in them. Okay, so the brown cookies have been in the oven for about 10 minutes. Hot. I should really use oven mitts. This is awful. My hands are burning. We're gonna, ow! Fuck. Okay, yes, we're gonna leave these on here until they're completely cool, because right now they're a little bit soft, and when they cool down, they're gonna get like hard and crispy. So the the other cookies are going into the oven now, and I will be right back. Okay, so we're done. Almost. I have to finish these as well, but like, we've done some of them. And do they look the same? No. Do they look as good? That's for you to decide. So in this, you have a really crumbly cookie with a thick, I mean, these are supposed to cool in the fridge as well, so it's not really fair. But like these, they're good. Can't say much about that. Let's try our with the Nutella. Yeah, okay. This one is much better than that one. The cookie is way lighter and just kind of breaks apart and melts in your mouth. Really good shit. Really, really good stuff. So the Nutella one, much, much better than this. Is it worth the time it takes to make the dough, to make the Nutella, to make the cookie, to make the thing? Yeah, I would say so. Let's try the pistachio one. I don't have high hopes for this. I did like the pistachio paste, but it became, I mean, look at this. It became so hard when it cooled. Like this is, yeah, it's not even funny. It's just a little bit too hard. I've had it in the fridge for the last few hours, It might get a little bit softer after when it warms up a little bit. Let's try what we see. Let's try what. It's late here now. Just throwing that out there, just so you know. Yeah, I mean, it's good. It's not as good as that one, obviously. Is it as good as this one? Yeah. I like these cookies way better than I like these cookies. So do I think you should make this at home? Yeah. That one you should make. This one, if you really like pistachio, you should do it. If you don't like pistachio a whole bunch, but you're like, yeah, it's all right, don't do it, it's not worth it. It doesn't taste a lot like pistachio. You're gonna break all your cookies trying to put it together if you let it sit in the fridge for too long. But yeah, make a couple of these and just kind of put them in the fridge or in the freezer actually to solidify on the little tray if possible, and then put them in bags and keep them in the freezer actually. Okay, I'm gonna finish these up and I will see you next time. Next time I think we're probably gonna go back to pancakes for next video. That is Ballerina cookies for you. Have a great night.